All right, CTU students, I have a trade on GPS at 37.49. My theory is that it's going to at least head back down here a little bit, retest these lows, and potentially go even lower. So I should be looking to cover down there around 30. Take some profits off the table. There we go. So now it's 300. I'm just going to let this one work for me. I don't have a stop loss in just because it was small size and I was willing to potentially build a position if it wanted to head up a little bit more. But not unfortunately, I'll take, ever since it hit 37.49, it has since been dropping. And you can see I just locked in some, just mitigated my risk a little bit by taking 19-cent profit to the downside. And now I'm just going to let this one work for me. I'm going to put my stop up here. And, if I get stopped out of the remainder of my shares, actually I take that back. We'll see where the high of this one forms. But, if it comes up, maybe even... So this one still isn't a total... I'm not at the guaranteed winning spot right now. Actually, why don't I... That high right there. Yeah, why don't I just... So that's at 37.50. Why don't I just go up and put it slightly above there, and then I can bring it down if I need to. So that'll be... And I will buy at 53 if it goes back up. Right on, you can see the high and then the open. So I'll use that as my stop loss, so slightly above there. But if not, I'm just going to let these remaining 300 shares work for me. I would love to see a break below, let's see, 37.04. That should really send it plummeting. And if it does break below 37, I am going to move my stop loss down to the high. So it's done that now. So that high is at 37.26. So I'm now going to move that down to 37.31. And let's just see. Let's see where this one wants to take us. I am officially in. This is a winner no matter what. Now I'm in the great spot of the position of being just how big of a winner is it going to be? I don't know, but I'm more than happy to kind of sit back and see what happens with this. So as it moves down, I'm just going to continue to move my stop loss down. I'll use the previous high method that is taught in the courses, and we'll see what happens with it. But I'd imagine at some point, because right now, think about it, we're getting kind of a bear pull formation formed right here, so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see some consolidation here, and then maybe hopefully get another, move to the downside. But we shall see what happens with it. This is the ultimate time to just be completely stress-free in my trading. So let's just see how far down it wants to go. Looks like new level of support right there at 36.84. So if it can break through that 84 mark, then I'd expect it to at least make another move to the downside. Whether or not it's a sustained one, that's a different story, but we shall see. I don't mind just letting it run a little bit, since this is a CTU exclusive video here. I know you guys and girls want all the content possible, but really not much for me to commentate. I have my stop loss up there. It kind of is what it is at this perspective. It's just, again, it's not if I'm going to make money. At this point, it's just how much money am I going to make, and that's a big function right now of how low is this thing going to drop. If it's going to get nastier and nastier, that would be fantastic. But we'll see what happens with it. And also, I want this to serve this as a candle. Now, if this candle still pretty much closes right where it is right now, I would not bring my low, or I would not bring my stop loss down to where it is. It needs to close down here. Then I'd be fine bringing it up some. But right now, I'm leaving it up here, and I will continue to leave it up there. As long as there's getting, it's kind of hard to explain, but hopefully with this I can show what I mean. So now we see a little bit longer of an upper shadow. Let me zoom back in. So we have a little longer of an upper shadow, but even with that, I want to let this one work for me. If I feel like if I bring my stop loss down to slightly above there, sure, I'm locking in more gains, But I'm already in the green, so I don't want to get stopped out and then have it all of a sudden turn around on me. So I want to still give there a little bit of leeway. Again, so this is the level of support we would like to see fall. Let's see, it's hit there 36.84 once, 36.85. So yeah, I'm actually going to alert this in the chat room right now. 36.84 key support. Watch if broken for possible scalp short. So we'll see what happens. That was just put over there in the chat room. And it's kind of boring right now. Now we just have to sit here and watch level 2s. But isn't it a great boring spot to be in? When you're managing risk and just letting shares work for you. It can truly be, or not. It is truly a nice boring to be. So I like when I'm this type of bored. Now 37 is broken. Where is this at? 36 or 37.31. Yeah, it's just hovering. So this is fine because with this consolidation, the more it consolidates, hopefully the bigger break it gets to the downside if it does break to the downside, because it's just think about what this is representing. The bulls, they think they're getting a rest, they're kind of getting their hopes back up again. But then any sort of move back to the downside, that's just false hope, and just more people are going to give up. So right now there are longs out there that are hopeful. They're thinking, I hope this is the base, I hope it's heading back out. And you know what, they may be right. Maybe this is the base, and maybe they're being smart with their hope because this is going to base out here and bounce up. They very well could be correct. But if they're not, and kind of all their hope and everything fails, like it is seeming to do right here, now I'd expect people, it's not holding up, it's not working, and now discouragement's going to set in. And here you can see discouragement taking over as it's moving to new lows. Although it's not, I thought it would be a little bit more impactful than that. But I'm not going to complain. But at this point, I am going to move my stop loss right there as we have gone to new lows. So that highs, I'll do 37.12 now. Reason for that, it went to new lows. So now I feel confident and feel okay moving my stop loss down to 37.12. So there we go. It's still trying to separate from there. But so hopefully that makes sense. It consolidated. I didn't want to quite bring it down there yet. But now that it went to new lows, now I feel, because it's got to work its way not only back up to where it was, but then it would have to push its way all the way back up there. So, that's where, and that's just personal preference. If you want to stick to the strategy to a T, and nope, new candle, low, new candle, low. If you want to stick to it, that's fine. But this is just, how I kind of like to do it. When it does go to new lows, then, that's when, as you saw, I moved down my stop loss. So that's, just kind of my personal preference. But, now, when do I move it down again? It may be a while, but we'll see. And this is just, letting things work for you, and just seeing how much money, can be made on a trade. So right now, what's the lowest it's gone? 36.75. So that would make sense. The 75, that kind of quarter round number. Look at that buyer in there at 76. So definitely, these are a bunch of slick willies right here. That's what's going on. Everybody was cutting in front of 75. 75 getting hammered, but holding up and there. So you can tell that was a key break there. So what was the high of this candle? 37.01. So because it's gone to new lows, I'm going to bring this down to 03 now. And, my win. And if this keeps up, I very well may be moving my stop loss down to, actually, what were the low? The lows here were 36.81. So you would think those are previous levels of support. So therefore resistance, remember I said the 85. So I'm going to go down to 89 or 88 now and put a stop loss in right there. But yeah, this one is working very nice for me. And that's what you want to see. Let your shares work for you. You're going to have losses. You're going to have those frustrating losses. But when you do get yourself in one of these positions, moves like this can wipe away quite a few losses. So just again, why did I put my stop loss down here? Well, let's just go back to basic. Let's go back to robotic trading. Basic support and resistance. This was an area of previous support. Now that it's broken, you would expect it to act as an area of resistance. So I'm giving myself a little wiggle room and putting my stop loss up there at 36.88. And okay, we're getting a little bit of a bounce here. We'll see if it can, and if it can fight up there and push through, then, more power to it. I will gladly step out. And again, maybe you're thinking, well, why wouldn't you just be covering down there? Well, what happens if I had just covered down here, that same rationale over here? Then I would have missed out on this whole move right there. So, and I am out for 36.89. So now up 323. Going into the trade, I was up 104 before, so I don't know what the math on that is. Regardless, though, an over a $200 trade. And a relatively short amount of time. And granted, you could easily have been off instead of staring here and watching it and, like I said, quote unquote, being bored. You could have been off, making other trades and stuff, because it was already a winning trade. You had your stop in place, so it was more about, let's go check out, see what else is going on. But I just, for the video's sake and for this example's sake, decided to watch it and kind of commentate it. But that's the other great thing about the the RVR and managed trading is, once you have your trade and everything in place, and you know it's a winner and everything like that, you can go on and check out other trades. And as you can see here, the bounce is happening. Whether or not this is a true bounce, I don't know, but I was completely willing to take my profits up there. Hindsight, sure, I could have had that much more if I covered down in the 60s or 50s, but hey, you never knew what exactly was going to happen. So hopefully you learned something. I mean, this is nothing, this is all found in the courses. If you're a new member, then just keep on chugging through the education and you'll come across all this stuff. But a lot of this was just basic technical analysis, supports, resistance, understanding the context, big gap down, overreaction here, just a quick little dead cat bounce, and then thinking it's more than likely going to roll over, which it did, and then it just went into trade management. So leave your comments below. Let's start a discussion if if there's any questions or anything. And thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. And like I said, leave a comment below. Let me know if you have any questions.